And now we're going to start this hour here with breaking news. Take a look here. At least one person has died. This after a crash in the downtown area. It was about 3 hours ago, right near the intersection of First Avenue and B Street. Not clear at this point what led up to this crash, but you see the damage on that car there. This is all the information we have at this moment. We're going to be sure to update you as more information comes into our newsroom.
Wow, just incredible images here this morning. More than 1,500 people are dead after a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake rattled Turkey and Syria. Thanks for being here at 6 a.m., everyone. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Neda Irampour. Another quake almost as strong as that first one hit during the search for survivors. So you can imagine how hard it is for those rescue crews trying to find anybody. Hundreds of people are still believed to be trapped under these buildings that came crashing down. Just
teetering down. CBS 8's Dana Marie McNichol in studio now with more on the rescue efforts that are underway right now and a look at all that damage. Dana Marie?
You know, we know that it shook for almost a minute, so much of that devastation hit throughout the area. The aftershocks, as you said, continue to rattle the region. So it was early in the morning, so people were jolted out of bed. They rushed to safety in rigid conditions. It's very cold there right now. You can, of course, see those buildings reduced to piles, and now rescue workers and residents are searching for survivors through the tangled metal and concrete. Now, the earthquake, it was centered in the north area of Turkish capital Gaziantep, and it was felt as far away as Cairo. The U.S. Geological Survey measured an aftershock at 7.5. It struck more than 60 miles away. Now, the region does sit on top of a major fault line and is frequently shaken by earthquakes. Some 18,000 people were killed in a similarly powerful earthquake that hit northwest Turkey in 1999. So right now, victims are seeing help from around the world. Rescue teams from Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, France, Greece, Hungary, Malta, the Netherlands, Poland, Romania, they've already all been mobilized to support the first responders there on the ground. Italy and Spain, Slovakia, they've offered their teams to Turkey as well. We did see Russian President Vladimir Putin offer condolences to the leaders of Syria and Turkey and express readiness to help. White House National Secretary Advisor Jake Sullivan, he adds that United States is on standby to provide support. We also heard from Israeli Prime Minister preparing to send aid after a request from Turkey's government. Now, the two countries, once close regional allies, are in the process of mending ties after years of tension. And of course, officials said the quake made 3 major airports in the area inoperable, further complicating delivery of vital aid. So, of course, we're going to continue to follow that rescue effort as it progresses throughout the morning. A lot of people posting on social media those efforts out there, people on the ground looking for those family members. So, of course, we're sending our love and support to those in that region.
All right, Dana Marie, thank you. This morning, 2 people have life-threatening injuries after a shooting in National City, and the suspect remains at large. So this happened Saturday night at the East Plaza, near East Plaza Boulevard, I should say, behind the Firestone Tire Shop. Authorities haven't released much information about the victims or the suspects. You're asked to call police if you have any helpful information. Also, new information this morning on a homeless man shot by police in Chula Vista. Authorities now say he is not expected to survive. Police say officers shot the man in the head while he was holding another man at knife point. It happened Saturday night at an apartment complex near Moss Street and Greenwood Street. Officers say they tried to negotiate, and when he refused to drop the weapon, they shot him. The hostage is expected to be okay. Per protocol, San Diego police are now investigating this shooting. And this morning, San Diego City Council is calling for nominations for the Commission on Police Practices. The commission's responsibilities include independently investigating cases of officer misconduct and proposing disciplinary actions. It will have 25 members and will include residents from each council district. The deadline for nominations is February 15th.
It's humiliating to share everything that happened to me, but I'm hoping to make a difference for other women in the workplace.
And that right there is former anchorwoman Sandra Moss. She is headed to court, this in her lawsuit against TV station KUSI, and it's all over equal pay. Moss says her ending salary was $90,000 less than longtime co-anchor Alan Denton. We asked KUSI where she worked and their attorneys for a statement. They had no comment in this. Pre-trial motions will be heard today, and jury selection will begin this week.
And in a little over an hour here, city crews will begin construction on the second segment of the Park Boulevard resurfacing project. The work will be taking place on Park Boulevard between Upas Street and Zoo Drive.
So near Balboa Park, the zoo, you're being asked to avoid parts of that area if you can. CBS 8's Chris Groh joining us live now with what we can expect. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, and already we're seeing a number of other crew members getting out here very early on in the morning. Remember, this work going to be starting at 7:30 in the morning. One section will be starting at about 9 a.m. That's where we are closest here to Roosevelt Middle School. That way that, of course, anybody who's here to drop off their kids not going to run into any of these road work or any of the road closed that will be part of this repaving project. Now, for how long this is going to be going on, this is going to be the entire week, Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 4 p.m. Now, we are going to be seeing, of course, asphalt being resurfaced here on the southbound lanes of Park Boulevard, starting at Upas Street all the way to President's Way. Then work is going to switch back to northbound lanes from President's Way to Upas Street. Now, a part of this as well as the repavement, which of course so many people want to have happen, is that this is also going to help add a new bike lane as well as a dedicated MTS bus lane. That's going to happen after the repavement takes place and they're able to go out there and actually paint those strips onto the roads. But remember, this is not that usual slurry patchwork type of job. This is full repaving. So this is what people have been clamoring for in a number of different areas of San Diego. So it's, again, what we're seeing happen first, though, right here in Balboa Park. This part of obviously a bigger plan here, but this happening soon. And again, you can already see the roads that we're on right now cracked. We're not seeing major potholes in our direct vicinity, but can only imagine if you were to go on these roads enough, you would potentially run into those potholes. So again, this is going to be happening Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4 p.m. in this area. So take that into consideration if you're driving in and around Balboa Park, South Park, and North Park. Netta?
Chris Groh, thank you for that warning there. And now the heads up here this morning, if you are going out to the beach, just keep in mind we have gusty winds, could produce some rough surf along the coast, sets up to 7 feet, and strong rip currents could create some dangerous swimming, surfing conditions. So 7-footers, something you don't want to mess around with. Also take a look here at last night's snow moon. I mean, it has been bright. Wow. Yeah, full moon was yesterday morning, but you still see obviously the bright light that was out there. Viewer Nadja Boyd, what kind of camera do you have?
I was going to say, it's no iPhone.
Wow, I mean, yeah, this is from Lakeside. What a clear shot you got. Remember, you can always send photos and videos through the CBS 8 app. Click on the Near Me section. I hate to say this, but I always think of cheese when I see
right. Yes.
shot like that.
I always think of the, you know, we have peaks and valleys here on our planet, but man, seeing those craters, they must be deep.
Oh, yeah. And those, you know, those cameras are pretty intense to be able to capture that close up of a shot. We still have a 99% full moon. This is, of course, on the back end of it as we're starting to lose more of Mother Nature's nightlight. We're gonna, though, allow the sun to peek through in the next half hour. Sunrise is technically still 32 minutes out, but we've got a little bit of cloud cover along the coast. The main talker along the coast, though, is this beach hazard statement. This is in effect because of high surf. 3 to 6 foot waves, sets of 7 possible. Gusty offshore winds are going to help contribute to this, but one thing those gusty offshore winds are also going to do is help to clear our skies up. So yesterday was a bit of a wet day out there. If you were driving in the morning, you may have saw some of the sprinkles come down. Cloudy to start off the morning, and then we saw more sunshine by the afternoon and evening. Now we're continuing to see that transition away from the cool and wet conditions and toward the dry and warm conditions. Today, not so dry, not entirely warm, but we're transitioning. So that's why we call this that transitionary day. Mid-60s in the forecast along the coast and inland. Coastline will see a few clouds throughout the day. Mountains will also see a few clouds, but in general, we've actually done a wonderful job of seeing those clouds break apart. Infrared doesn't do the greatest job of giving us the full picture. We'll rely on that visible satellite loop once the sun does come up, but you can kind of make out that round of showers that did make its way down south from the Inland Empire, and still some moisture just around the Havasu area pushing off toward Arizona. So going into the next couple hours, offshore winds are going to to help contribute to this drying trend. We're going to really feel those gusts come through closer to this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll start to see some improvements made as we head toward Wednesday. But that view, here's that nearly full moon, 99% full, doing a beautiful job to light us up from San Miguel. Let's take a look at traffic as we start off the morning. So far, things are pretty quiet on the roads. We were tracking a couple crashes earlier, so I'll give you the update on what we see there on the roads. This is kind of the wider picture. One of the crashes that we saw popping up was down toward Chula Vista. There's also one slightly farther north. So we'll start up in the North County. This is closer to Lucadia. Crash on the 5 northbound right now, slightly farther south. Closer to Chula Vista, we've got a stalled vehicle on the 805 northbound. This is at Palomar Street. So 2 different crashes that we're tracking, one farther toward about the Lucadia area, second one farther south toward Chula Vista, neither causing any extensive backups to kick off the morning. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Evan.